Hi all, welcome to this series of interview questions front-end with a vision to make each day better, which is a smaller step. Welcome to the question 30 of this series. The question today is how to create static in JavaScript. Static, static variables or functions belongs to the class instance, not the instance. Okay, it belongs to the class. It has only one single copy. There is always a single copy of static variables or functions. Immaterial of how many instances you create, all the instances share this single copy. Okay, so this is what static is. You might have seen this static keyword in many classical language like Java and all, but in JavaScript there is no static keyword. Okay, in TypeScript you might have seen this static keyword, but if you see under the hood, this is how it is implemented. If you transpile your TypeScript code, you will see static is implemented. There is no particular static keyword. It is you have to the static functionality has to be implemented in JavaScript. So today we will see how it can be implemented in the static functionality can be implemented in JavaScript. So to create a static functionality, what you have to do, there are two ways you can create a static, private static, that is which is available to only the constructor function. Okay. Other is publicly available static variable. So first we'll see private static variable, that is which is available only to the constructor. So here I have created a constructor. Okay. I've created a constructor. So normally the constructor function we will be having it, we will say let book equal to function. So for creating static, what you have to do, you have to return the constructor function inside a self-invoking function. You can see it here. It is a self-invoking function, right? This is a self-invoking function which calls immediately. Okay. And you have to whatever static variables you need to initialize it inside the self-invoking function. Okay, and then you can have the return the constructor function. So what happens is the these variables, okay, are available via closure to this function, constructor function. So they become static. Okay, you understand? Because this constructor function is in the same closure of this self-invoking function. By means of closure, whatever the constructor function gets access to these variables. Okay, correct? Because closure, you have access to the scope where it was created, even though it is returned, right? So if you understand it here, this count and get count, where this same copy will be available to how many ever constructor objects you create out of this constructor function. So even if you create 2 or 3 or how much ever, this count, the same copy of the count will be available to all the objects created out of this constructor function, right? That's why if you see here, I would have used the static variable let count equal to 0 to find out how many instances was created out of this constructor function, correct? You understand? So you understand the static is nothing but the same copy is being shared by the all the instances which is created. You can see it here that all the instances share the same count and get count. This is a static variable, this is a static function. So let us see it. Okay, let me show it. Okay, we comment it for time being. Okay, so here have the same thing. Okay, so let me create the object. Okay, now the count should be 1. If you see the print of this count should be 1 because we are creating one instance. So if I run it, it will be showing 1 here, right? Number of objects 1 and number of get count also gives the count, right? Even if I create many objects, it will just increment the count because all the instances, all the objects share the same count variable, right? I create 4. Now for each object it should get incremented, the count value. You can understand here, if all create the same count, it will be always 1 1 1, but that will not be case here because all objects share the same copy of count, so it will just increment. Okay, you can see it here, you can see it here, it is 1 2 3 and 4. Oh, okay, hope this is understandable. Other thing you need to understand is you can't publicly access this static variable count. You can't publicly access. If you do that, it will be undefined here in this first case, and second case it will throw error. It will say that get count is not available. Okay, maybe I will put a console log here. If I run it here, you can see it will be undefined, and here it will throw a error that it is not a function. So the if you create a static variable like this, it is not publicly accessible outside using the constructor variable, the variable where we have the constructor function. Using that you cannot access. Now let us move to the next way of creating static variables, publicly accessible static variables. To create publicly accessible static variables, to the constructor function you just add the static variable or static function. If you add it, you can directly access it using the constructor function directly. Okay, as you can see it here, you can directly access it. Okay, I can also show you this one for you, right? Maybe I will uncomment this. So if you directly access it, okay, put it directly, you will be able to directly access it. You can see book.title test name, and this also you can see this. Book.getTitle should also give you the title. Let's maybe I will comment these all. Now you should see this. Okay, you can see title test name, title QQ test name. So the public static variables can be accessed directly using the constructor function. Okay, like this. Okay, so these are the two ways you can create a static functionality in JavaScript. Thank you guys. Have a nice day.